YouTube, my name is Mike. I go by DJAXCESS. Welcome back to the channel where we aim to build a better DJ community together. If you like what I do on this page, make sure you hit the like button after you find something helpful, or feel free to subscribe and definitely leave a comment if you have an idea for a video you want me to make in the future. Today we are talking about the MPC Live 2 and the Launchpad X and why these are almost certainly going to be out of this house within the next month, because all I wanted was for my MPC Live 2 to have more pads. I want to get more creative with my piano playing. Maybe I could leave this just on drums and leave these on my instruments and have a good old time, right? MIDI controller, DAW workstation, these should be able to talk together so well. They can't. I spent 6 hours yesterday trying to get these two things to communicate. Now, don't get me wrong, they do communicate. However, the method in which they communicate was driving me nuts. A long story short, the Launchpad X will only send note information to the MPC Live 2. It will not send MIDI data information. So for instance, let's say I want to hit this pad and I want this to control this pad and bank A. And then I want to do that for this little section of pads. And then for bank B, I want it to be this section. For bank C, this section. Bank D, this section. Now, if I was using a drum program, that would work. But most of the time, I only need 16 drum samples. So I wanted to do this with my pianos, my saxophone, my guitars, my plucks, all of that stuff. So I have, more octaves to work with. With this, if I have it in scale mode, I only have 2 octaves to work with. With this, I could have probably, 8 of them? So, getting angry again. I thought that all I'd have to do was map the MIDI information to each part of the bank and off I would go. Well, this doesn't send MIDI information when it comes to plugins. It sends note information. So when I would go and change the scale or change the note or change the key that I was in, this would still be in C. If I was in C here and I went from C major to C minor, this would still be in C major. And I could not get it to work. I spent 6 hours trying to do this. I had ChatGPT, Gemini, YouTube, all trying to help me out, and we could not do it. So I want to be clear, because I couldn't find any information of people talking about this. So if you have an MPC Live 2 and you love it like I did, and you want to add more pads, this is not the way to do it. And if you know a way to do it, please let me know, because I would like to hang on to my MPC Live 2, but most likely I'll be getting an Ableton Push 3 standalone. And I will miss my little speaker on this guy, but I am an Ableton user for my editing, so it might be nice and kind of get me more into that producer musician realm. Anyway, so if I have here, on here, I'm in A minor. So I wanted this pad to correspond to this note. It doesn't. It's basically got its own thing going on. I'm not even on the drum pattern. I'm on piano, but this is doing that thing. So I know how to fix that. I have to tell which instruments to listen to the MIDI, but I'm just gonna mute everything. So here's the scale that I'm in. This is like the default mode. Apparently it's got a mind of its own now. So that's the default guy that it's in. There's no information as to, I figured I can hold this down and mess around and maybe change stuff, maybe not. This doesn't look like it's actually doing anything. So here's my notes information. So what I tried to do is MIDI map this guy to all the stuff that I was doing. But if I change the notes, even if I'm changing the notes, it's still the same. If I change the scale, it doesn't matter. So when I bought this, I assumed that I could just send, hey, pad 1 correspond to A1, pad 2, A2, pad, whatever this pad is, to C1. And I could get through that way, and then I could kind of organize my pads the way I like to and play piano with 64 pads or whatever it is. It doesn't work that way, people. I've tried. If you're watching this, you're like, Mike, it works. Let me know in the comments and I'll delete this video. I wanted this to work so bad, but I have a Ableton Push 3 standalone on the way. That's basically gonna take what this does, combine them, and I'll probably be selling my MPC Live 2, which again, I have loved because of the speaker, the battery, the workflow. It's really nice to just put this in a backpack and go to a park and just jam. You know, maybe I bring my cajon, whatever. It's been a really good unit, but I think now with the Ableton Push 3, like I said, it's a DAW I'm familiar with. I can probably just go from having an MPC and Ableton to just having Ableton. I'm not really making music on this. I'm just using this as an instrument, like a live instrument. I'm not making music on it. Whereas Ableton, I could certainly easily make remixes or edits or just add some fun things to it. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. The MPC Live 2 will work with the Launchpad X, just not in the way that I wanted to. So I couldn't figure out how to get this on the correct notes. No matter what I was doing on this was always the same. So there's one fix I did find, but it was an actual nightmare to go through. I could have, for each one of these banks, you can kind of jump around and do different banks in here, right? And change the pads. I could go in and I could make this C major, this C minor, this, C, the blues key, Dorian, blah, 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 blah. And I was gonna do that, but then I'm like, wait a minute, that will mean that I have to always play in C. So if I'm playing with a saxophone player, I'm jamming with somebody, I'm playing along with another DJ, I would always have to be in C. So at that point, I threw in the towel, I gave up, and said, you know what, I gotta find a new solution. I found the Push 3 by Ableton standalone, so that is on its way, and I'm sure I will do a video about that. So if you have any questions, again, leave them in the comments, and if, again, please, if you know how to fix this, let me know. I'll make another video showing people how to do it, but like I said, 6 hours of full focus time, and I could not figure it out. Love my MPC Live 2, but it's got to go. We're taking both these units, combining them into one. DJ Access signing off. If you found something helpful, please leave a like or a comment, and we will see you in the next video. Peace and practice.